Hi, boys and girls. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for joining me. I want to read you a story today and then do a craft. It could be a mask or a hat. You can decide which you want yours to be, okay? So, our story is Walter the Farting Dog, and it's written by William Kotzwinkle and Glenn Murray and illustrated by Audrey Coleman. And it's also published by Frog Limited. It says, warning, this book may cause flatulence. Flatulence is another word for farting. Did we read the title? Walter, you know that word, the farting dog. Dog, very good. Walter the farting dog. For everyone who's ever felt misjudged or misunderstood. Walter the farting dog. Betty and Billy bought Walter home from the dog pound. Nobody wanted him, said Billy. But we love him, said Betty. Well, he smells awful, said their mother. I think you better give him a bath. Mother walked in and said, he still smells awful. And that's when they got the first clue, the telltale bubbles in the water. He's probably just a little nervous, said Mother hopefully. His stomach must be upset. But Walter's stomach wasn't upset. Walter's stomach was just fine. He felt perfectly normal. He just farted a lot. He did it when he bathed. He did it when he played with Betty and Billy. He did it when he walked around the house. He did it in the dining room. He did it in the kitchen. And he did it in his sleep. That dog farts morning, noon, and night, said Father. He can't help it, Daddy, said Billy and Betty. They didn't mind Walter's farts. So what if he farts? Billy said to Betty when they were alone in their room with Walter. Betty agreed. Walter agreed too. He sat there looking innocently around, farting. Take him to the vet, said Father. Farting, said the vet, or rectal flatulence, as we say in the medical profession, and prescribed a change in diet. They gave Walter every kind of dog food. He farted. They tried him on cat food. They gave him hot dogs, hamburgers, and lettuce and tomato sandwiches. They gave him fried chicken. They gave him rabbit food. They made him a vegetarian. No matter what that dog eats, he turns it into farts, roared Father. Walter got the blame for everyone else's farts, too. If Uncle Irv let one slip, he just went and stood near Walter. Then all he had to say was, Walter, and everyone would look at poor Walter. He has to go back to the pound. Oh my goodness, let's try that again. He has to go back to the pound, said Father. No, Daddy, please, begged Betty and Billy. Don't send Walter away. They pleaded. Walter farted. He goes tomorrow, said Father. It was all over. That night, Betty and Billy cried in their beds, and Walter looked at them unhappily. "Oh, Walter," said Betty, "you've got to stop farting, because Father's going to send you back to the pound tomorrow." Walter knew how serious the situation was. He'd never seen Betty and Billy again. He resolved to hold on to in his farts forever. When Betty and Billy fell asleep, he walked down to the kitchen to see if there was anything around to eat. He managed to open the cupboard door with his nose and found the 25-pound bag of low-fart dog biscuits the vet had prescribed for him, which had made him fart more. Even though he knew they made him fart more, he couldn't resist. He ate the entire bag. "Very tasty," said Walter to himself. And then he went and lay down on the sofa. A gigantic gas bubble began to build inside him. "This is going to be trouble," he said to himself nervously. He was afraid of what might happen if he let it go. He thought maybe the house would explode. So he kept it in. It wasn't easy. In fact, it was torture. But he had resolved never to fart again. His future depended on it. As he lay there, with his tail wrapped tightly between his legs, he heard a noise at the window. He watched it open slowly. A pair of burglars came through. They dropped silently into the kitchen. "Watch out for the dog," said one of the burglars. "He won't bite," said the other. "He's a wimp." Walter might have bitten them, except he was so filled with gas he couldn't move. They tied a rag around his snout so he couldn't bark. "Okay," whispered the first burglar. "Let's clear the place out." They took everything they could get their hands on. Walter wanted to stop them, but he was having unbearable gas pains. He rolled on his back and waved his paws in the air. He gnashed his teeth. "We've got it all," said the second burglar. "Let's go." And that's when Walter let it fly. It was the worst fart of his life. It made a tremendous noise and shot him across the room. A hideous cloud filled the air. The burglars clutched their throats, unable to breathe. With tears in their eyes, they raced for the window. They tried to grab their bag with all the valuables in it, but their arms were too weak. "Let's get out of here." They jumped out the window and ran up the block, choking and gasping for air. Still blinded by Walter's attack, they stepped into the headlights of an approaching police car. "Hold it right there," said the policeman. When Father and Mother came down in the morning, they found the open window, and they saw the bag with their valuables in it, and Walter was sitting beside it. He still had the rag tied around his snout. You'd have to say he looked heroic. "He saved the silverware," cried Mother. "He saved the VCR," cried Father. "Good dog, Walter. You're our dog, even if you do fart all the time." And so the family learned to live with Walter, the hero dog. And that's the end of our tale. Walter's Wonder Park, 100% natural gas powered. Looks like he's got an amusement park that he fuels with his farts. I like that book. It's funny. All right, boys and girls, let's try. We'll turn on a light over here so we can see, and I will move over here. There is an attachment in Google Classroom that you can go to, and it has a picture of a dog. And this is what it looks like when you cut it out, just like that. So you can make this into a mask by cutting out the eye holes, and then your eyes would go right there. Or you can make it into a dog hat. And I want to make mine into a dog hat. If you want yours colored like Walter, he was a gray dog, just like that. Gray, black and white, or gray. I want mine to be, my Walter dog, to just stay white. So I am going to add some paper strips so it will fit around my head. And I think instead of using glue today, I'm going to use some tape. So I'm going to tape these two together because my head's quite big, so I need a longer piece than my paper was in length. And I'm going to see if this is going to be long enough for me. I'm going to put the tape on the back side. And then I'm going to measure to see, will it fit? I think it will. About right there. I hope that is the right place. We'll see. You just have to try, and if it's not, then you have to adjust it. Make it bigger or smaller, depending on what you need. All right. How do you like my Walter, the farting dog? Yes. Now, probably the best place to pretend you're Walter, the farting dog, would probably be outside because, sometimes parents don't like farting in the house. So listen to your mom and dad, and if they want you to take your Walter the farting dog outside because you are very good at being Walter the farting dog, then take him outside. And if you want to make it as a mask, then remember you just cut the 2 eye holes, and then it can be a mask for you. Boys and girls, I hope you have a wonderful day. I love dogs, and I hope you do too. Maybe you can go for a walk today, and maybe you can count how many dogs you see and see how they're the same and how they're different. Look at the different kinds of dogs because God made a lot of different kinds of dogs. Remember, you are special, you are smart, you are important, you can do hard things, and you are loved. Bye for now, and thank you for joining me. So long.